Now before I start this video, I want to give a massive shout out to my boy, Trent from Miscast Terrain. If you don't know who this guy is, check out the links below. His videos are just so inspirational and they're just amazing, well put together, so easy to watch. But anyway, the Nurgle Diaries has given me so much inspiration to build my childhood dream Warhammer 40k army. I've been putting it off and off as you do, just because building an army is just sheer commitment. And I thought, if Trent can literally sculpt, modify, make any model, complete all his models completely different, I can paint a few models, make a few tanks, make a few bits that suit this army in a way that it looks amazing. So I'm going to do it, and I'm going to document that. Now, the models that took my eye as a child were the Praetorian Guard from Games Workshop. I think they were early thousands, late 90s. They're just so iconic to me, and I've always loved them. Now, they're hard to find now, and if you do find them on eBay, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg, hence why I kept them in a cupboard. Now, starting a brand new army is always hard. What I like to do when I'm planning my new army is I build a model that I really like the look of. For me, it's weapons teams. I love them. I've got 9 of them to do as well. So I start off with just one heavy bolter. I build it together. I clean it up if it needs it. Best thing about a lot of second-hand models, it's already been done. However, some of these still had a little bit of flash on the helmet and things. Easy to clean up. Now, all my paint holders and everything are at work, so I thought I'd print off some Miscast's classic pots to keep with the style and the aesthetic of the army. Now I'm a pet hate about 3D printing, just getting the USB stick in. Now, inspiring yourself to do an army. I always do a test model first. This is the weapons team that I'm going to be doing. The reason I do this is, one, it makes me know what I've got to plan, what I've got to sort, and I try and paint them in a way that's a quick, and I can get it to sort of a decent look with minimal effort. So when I've got a batch paint, say 50 infantry, 9 of these weapons teams, I'm not going to think it's a massive task. So what I do is I try to find the most efficient way I can to paint the models up. I will cover this when I come to do it all, and I'll batch paint all as quick as I can, and I'll document that. But this is good time to get your juices flowing, shall we call it. And that's what it does. But for me, painting isn't the bit that really gets me going. This is me prepping myself for the work I've got to do later down the line. The bit that I really enjoy, and the bit that really makes me want to get the models done, is getting the bases done first. I'm a terrain builder, of course I like doing the bases, but for me, an average painted army with really good bases looks far better than well painted models with no bases done at all. So I put a lot of effort into the basing because it just makes the army stand out. And the way I do this is using Tropical Beach and Desert Sand and Stone. Now, the base ready range got its name for dip and done, as in quick basing. I'm not a big fan of painting bases. If you want to make it look realistic, use products that are already the right colour and right sort of fineness to give you the looks that you require. That's why I like using Tropical Beach. It's an ultra fine sand, it's less than 0.2 millimeters, and the coarse Desert Sand and Stone, I use that as like a coarser area, and I mix them both together. They're very complementary colours, and I just use them like you would a coarse and a fine foam flock. So if you want that desert look quickly, that doesn't take much effort at all you're going to do is slam some glue down, chuck your course down in areas for your darker, rougher patches, and then just use your fine sand over that. And I build that up. What I actually do is, once I've done this, I actually seal it down with a matte Scenics sealant, but through a pipette. Once I've pipetted that on, I actually put more Tropical Beach on top of that, and you get like really sort of swooping sands, and it looks really nice. Now while that's drying, I'm going to want to make some desert grass tufts. It's not something that I actually make and sell yet. However, making your own is pretty simple. I use a mix of 4 and 6mm autumn and dead. Now I don't mix them together. What I do is I do loads of irregular dots of the fast dry basing glue, and then I use the 4 and 6mm autumn to get all the irregular tough base colours down. Now when you're making tufts like this for an army, make more than you need. It's always nice to have a good stash of tufts, especially if you're making them yourself. You might as well do them all in one go. It doesn't take long, especially if you're making them like this, all irregular and random looking. But it's also good to make them in a good batch, because you might make them slightly different next time, and if you're wanting to keep it quite coherent, it's good to make them in a large batch. Now once you've got your autumn 4 and 6mm mixed down, we're going to get more of the fast dry basing glue. You can do this while it's waiting, you don't have to wait for it to dry, and then just stipple it on top. Now go quite gentle, you don't want to get too much grass on top because you're wanting the green to show through underneath, and it's just as simple as stabbing your brush down on top of the tuft, and then what we're going to do then is go over with some dead grass, and we get a really nice sort of deserty grass, so you've got the green at the bottom where it's the healthiest to the driest on top. Now to add some more details to the weapons teams, I'm just going to break up some twigs and stick them down, and also make it look like some broken trees. Now like the tufts, what we're going to do is get the fast dry basing glue and then stipple it on in places, but we're going quite lightly. And the reason I'm doing this is just so it's a lot more random. Rather than loads of little patches of tufts, what I'm doing is just adding the grass where I want it. Okay, we've got a regular tufts, but this just looks a lot more natural. It's like doing a board, but just on a smaller base, that's all. So we put the autumn down as first. The one thing that I do differently on the 60mm bases is I go a lot lighter with the glue, and I don't spend as much time applying the dead grass on top. I sit more around the centre, and that's just to accentuate the green more. It just looks a lot nicer. I do this just because it's a bigger base and there's more going off, so you can actually spend a bit more time. And just put that glue down and then shake the dead grass over the top of that, and then you get a really nice arid base look. Now we're sticking my test models down. I just use super glue. I don't bother with pinning, I don't bother with anything like that. I find gel super glue on a proper sealed base more than ample. And I like doing the basing first, because if I stand like this model in the grass, as you push him down, it pushes the grass away. It looks a lot more natural around the model, rather than just grass being, outside of his foot rather than stood on it. Now with the smaller miniatures, it's a bit different. I actually stick them down first, and then I put grass around them. The reason I do this is just because obviously we're going to be handling these miniatures a lot more with them in troops, and you do tend to pick the models up. So what I do is I do stick them down with gel super glue, and then I put the grass around them so they're a lot stronger. I don't tend to pick weapons teams up by the models, and I'll move them by the base. But once they're done, as you can see, the basing really sets this army off, and I really cannot wait to get the rest of them painted. I've got 50 guardsmen to do, I've got 9's weapons team, and I'm going to be doing custom tanks and everything for this, so stay tuned for more videos. If you want to use the products used in this video, don't forget to check out my website, really supports the channel. Thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you again for the next video. Love, love, love.